Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you an Exodus resin kit from X-Men that I just finished painting up. Now I did do a garage kit review on this a few weeks back. I will link that in the description if you want to see how this was all keyed together. But I just got finished putting it, painted it up. Everything is pretty much solid. It was a little tricky in pretty much putting him together, but all in all, it was very well keyed and designed. One thing though is when I did do the garage kit review, the flame here and this leg here actually was, I guess it was defective or it wasn't correct. I forgot exactly what the thing was, so the client that actually dropped this off to me had to come back and drop off a new flame and a new leg. I think what was going on is the other leg was actually leaning forward. It was actually hitting this flame here, and I think if I put him together, he would actually be a little bit leaning forward. But I don't know if that was the problem with it or not. I mean, it keyed into the base pretty well, but I think the leg and the way it was cut was a little bit off. But this new leg and everything worked out pretty good. So if you do watch the garage kit review, these two legs are separated. It's separated from here. This mid piece is separated in the torso. So if you were to paint this all in pieces and you were to actually like leave it magnetized, what would happen is he would be very wobbly, and if he hit the wrong way, he could actually fall apart. So the whole torso over here with the waist and all these legs are all in one solid piece. But the arm, this arm's removable, this glove area is removable, the head, everything else is removable where it should be. But I wanted to make sure he was solid, because just by turning him like this, if I was to leave it magnetized, he'd be wobbling all over the place, and that's a risk of falling apart. The flames are all glued into the base because I was going to do magnets, but I always have a fear of magnets with clear resin. If I Dremel out the areas and I put in magnets, probably what would happen is if you pop it in and out and stuff, you could crack it. So it's better to leave it solid. And the person I'm doing for this is picking it up, and he says this is his holy grail, so it's going with him to his grave. So he's really not worried about, you know, having to break it down, sell it, or pack it up and stuff like that. I mean, you can still break him down and everything. He does come apart, but all in all, it's pretty well done. So we'll get a little bit closer, kind of break some of this stuff down. So he wanted to have glowing eyes, so what I did is I did pearls into the eyes to make it glow a little bit more. So I did kind of hit the outside of the eye with like the magenta. Then I hit it with a little bit of pearl, and then the white pupils, I kind of gave those a pearl. So it kind of glows a little bit more than just being flat. I always like to try to make things pop a little bit more than that. Pretty much my own little take on skin. Gave him a little bit of a darker skin than I normally do, only because it seems that some of the artwork that was sent to me, he's kind of got a little bit of a hint of a darker skin. Hair is basically straightforward. For all his metal, it's an Alclad Pale Gold. Now for the gold, what I did was I did a wash of Citadel Warlock Bronze to give it more of that older look. Maybe if we get up a little bit closer, get a little closer here for you guys. You kind of see I did a wash in there. It made it look worn. I didn't want it to, you know, I didn't want it to be like perfectly, you know, pure metal and just kind of like, you know, just looks perfect and shiny. Kind of gave him a little bit more worn look to him, a little bit more weathered type of a look, and just kind of make it pop more. Plus it helps bring out all those details a little bit more too. So this shoulder pad is connected to the cape, and that connects onto his torso. These two shoulder pads here connect onto there, so these are magnetized. This piece right here is not glued in, it just it sits in there, and then the head locks in. So I didn't want to over glue everything. I wanted to keep it separate just in case down the line, you never know, if you're swapping things in and out and stuff and something happens, you could get in there and kind of clean it up. This little piece is magnetized, but actually it was broken. So I actually had to go in here with a rod and kind of fix this and rework this area here. That kind of sucked. That was kind of one of the worst parts of the whole kit. But once I got that fixed, it worked out pretty well. Now, he does have a change arm. So this arm is magnetized. Now you can't swap out this hand and this hand. This hand is connected to there. So I was going to keep these arms, like I was going to take out the magnets and attach them, but I said, you know what? Let's just leave it magnetized. It's easier that way. So you can swap out these arms. Now, the The reason why there's no magnet in these arms is because there's magnets all over the place up here. So if you add another magnet, it might be pushing out the arm. But with the rod, it kind of sits in pretty well. So don't really have to worry about that much. Now, as far as his outfit goes, we kind of did a little bit of a different take on it. Now, when I first painted this up, it was pretty much like it's kind of like a 90% gray outfit of all the pictures we saw. But then some of the pictures the client sent me, his outfit had a little bit more of a deep purple tint into it. So what we did is there is a purple tint on his outfit. I'm not sure how well it's showing in the camera, but there is a really deep purple in there. And then what we did is we gave this like this textured area a metallic gray, which is kind of more of like a deep gunmetal almost. And then I flattened it to make it look like a spandex, just to make his outfit pop a little bit more. Instead of just doing it all in purple and just kind of making it blah, we kind of just did this, and I think it really works with the outfit a little bit more. It kind of gives it our own little take and stuff. As far as the purple outfit areas go, so this is kind of like a purple paint. It's got a dry brushing of magenta onto it. So what I did is I did some paint ups for the client. I showed him. He pretty much said, okay, go a little bit deeper with magenta, and I kept going because it's kind of hard with magenta. You can really kind of destroy the purple if you go too much, but I think we got enough to go into there. And then pretty much as far as the leg, same thing. So just kept the whole pale gold with a little bit of washes in there just to make it look a little bit worn, a little bit older. Kind of went with the same colors and stuff here and there. And he goes in and out of the base. He's with a rod here. So I do have a rod up in this leg. There is a nice rod there. And he's really not that heavy of a kit where I'm would be concerned of him leaning. I think they did a good job with that. So that's not really a concern. Now as far as the base goes, it's his power is kind of just like, it's kind of like a street. It looks like it's a street and it's broken up because there's a pipe here. And these are like all rocks underneath the street because this looks like a pipe coming underneath here and stuff. So that after like really looking at the base, we realized it's kind of a street than just like a pile of rocks. So we just kind of painted it up with that. Now the last thing is his cape. I told the client, I said, all the pictures have him in a, like a white cape. So I said, why don't we kind of go with an off-white and dirty up the bottom of the cape just to give it a little bit more life, and also, just having a plain, pure white cape with like a little bit of a shadow is kind of let's kind of bring them up. So what I did is I mixed up a batch of a off-white color mixed with a little bit of beige, a hint of blue, and with the beige and the blue sort of gave me almost like a green, but not much, as the base color. And then I went in there and I did some like bluish shades. But for the bottom of the cape, as you can see, what I did is I texturized it and I made it look worn at the bottom. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking it up, but I kind of just wanted to make the bottom of the cape, because you figure if you're walking around with your cape and it's hitting the ground or it's hitting the flames or whatever, it kind of gets dirty over time. And just gives him a little bit more age and experience. So you can see what I did with the cape. And I think it brings it out a little bit more, Don't be afraid when you do your kits that it doesn't have to be a solid color. You could get in there and you can kind of dirty it up and just give it a little bit of life at certain areas just to make it look a little bit better. So that's what I did. The client liked the idea and it worked out pretty well. And one of the others too, and I'll be honest with you too, painting a pure white cape, sometimes handling it or trying to, mess with it, you can really dirty up the cape. But now that we have a little bit of an idea that it is dirty, it kind of plays with the item. So being a worn metal outfit, for shoulder pads, a worn cape, and the base and everything just gives him a little bit more, age to him. It's not just pure clean and this doesn't look like he's in battle. This looks like he's been around for a little while and he's seen some shit. That's basically the idea I was going for. But all in all, very great kit, sculpted very well. The only thing that is not magnetized, and I think is best just to leave as is this piece right here. This is kind of like the final thing. There's a little bit of a notch here, and this kind of goes in here. Now this stays in pretty well once he's all together. So I figure it's best just to leave it alone. If the client, he wants to, put a dab of glue, he can, but there is like other stuff, like those guys I think in California, they have like that tacky stuff for like earthquakes and stuff. you probably get a little bit of attack in there and kind of do it, but it stays in pretty well. Sometimes I like to leave things as is without trying to force it. And I didn't want to try to go in there and chisel something out and put a magnet in there and it not work. And because what it was is you had to attach the torso and everything, and then this goes in at the end. If I try to attach this and make this go and I do this, it might not have fitted. It's kind of a long story, but it really wasn't going to work that well. But all in all, that is pretty much it. That is Exodus. Real fun to work on. It's nice. It's a different color. It's a different paint scheme. Just was a lot of fun. You know, I made sure I colored all the other stuff. I'm not going to swap out the arm for this video because I just don't really want to pull all of it apart. You do have to pull off the head, pull off the shoulder pads, pull out the fin piece in the back, pull out the 2 shoulder pads, swap out the arm and put it all back. It's very tedious. So this is one of those things where you pick your favorite pose and you leave it for a while, then you could change it up down the line. But really great kit. Definitely going to go well with any X-Men collection, especially if you're a Magneto fan. Because this is Magneto's right-hand man, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. And this will look really good standing next to a Magneto or in a villain team. So there you go. That is Exodus. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.